this is Chase Utley, and this is the Phillies Show.
Ruben Amaro Jr., Jim Salisbury, Todd Zalecki. It's the Phillies Show. It's Friday, August 1st, 2025. Hope everybody is doing great. The trade deadline is over. It ended at 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. The Phillies made 3 moves. They got Johan Duran on Wednesday, and then they got Harrison Bader, the outfielder, on Thursday afternoon, and then they made a last-minute announced after the deadline move for Matt Manning, pitcher. They sent him down. I'm chuckling because I couldn't remember his name earlier. Matt Manning. He's going to get sent down to he has been optioned down to Clearwater. He's going to work in the lab, but he's got some big league experience. So
does he have a white coat on in the lab?
Yeah. He's got all sorts of diodes connected to him.
Let me just before we get going, I gotta say something about Matt Manning. I saw him in spring training a few years back, and I love this guy. He's got big league time. I'm not sure if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's a physical thing, a combination of all the above. But this guy had the perfect pitcher's body. I loved the ball coming out of his hand. I saw him in spring training, and this guy was outstanding. Now, it's been a long time since he's been in that space. But, I mean, there's a guy that maybe they can take a chance on, see what they got.
Yeah, worth a shot. Try to, as Dabrowski used the expression, we're going to try to help him. Well, if you help him, he could end up, and he gets somewhere. He could end up helping you. So it's not a bad, flyer.
Yeah, no doubt. He's not going to help the Phillies though this year, but Duran and Bader will help the Phillies this year. Bader was the recent move we took. We spent Thursday's episode talking all about Duran. So let's talk a little bit about Harrison Bader. Let's get going. It's time for the Park's first pitch. First pitch is brought to us exclusively by our partners at Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. I was actually at Parks Casino last week.
Tell us about your experience, Tom.
Yeah, my wife and I, we went to dinner. We went to the little gastro pub there, and I had, Jim knows this, I enjoy a good prime rib. I make the prime rib at Christmas. I had a little rotisserie prime rib. Very good. Had
really?
Some oysters. Had a couple, Ruben, you'll appreciate this. Had an old fashioned.
I will appreciate that.
Yes, you will. You will very much appreciate that. So it was fun. We had a really good time.
Did they give you the red carpet treatment? Have your table all ready, wave you in with,
exactly.
waiter with the napkin.
The napkin.
Garçon.
Yeah.
Garçon.
Nice. I like to keep it classy, keep it fancy at all times. So
that's you.
Yeah, but we had a great meal. We had a lot of fun. So I wanted to give them a
great place to visit, man. There's a lot of stuff going down there.
Yeah, it is. It's tremendous. So
all right, let's get on with the baseball before we get crushed in the comments.
Yeah. let's do Harrison Bader. The Phillies give up a couple prospects, Henry Mendez and Jeremy Veloria, who's like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid down in the Dominican. And they needed him because they needed a right-handed bat in the outfield. I think, I'm sure a lot of Phillies fans were hoping for much bigger. They were hoping for Eugenio Suárez at one point. He got traded to the Mariners on late Wednesday night. I think people were also obviously hoping for Steven Kwan just because he is so super talented. But they got Bader. He should help. Statistically,
he's their best outfielder.
He's their best outfielder.
What do you guys? Sad state of affairs out there, but his numbers are the best, pretty much of anyone they have. I feel like there's a little bit of is that all there is? If you could have gotten Bader yesterday on the 30th. And Duran on the 31st, I think psychologically the fan base would have been more pumped up. But it almost seems like you go from Duran to Bader, a little bit of a letdown. I think people were expecting more of a right-handed bat. I wasn't necessarily. I would have liked to have seen Laureano. I think he's a cut above. But I all along I thought they were going to use their biggest trade capital in the bullpen on a big dominant arm, and they got a great one in Duran. I thought offensively would be more like a tweak or a tweak plus. And, you know, that's what Bader is. Like I said, he statistically would become your best outfielder. They've gotten better in the outfield. But, you know, we'll see. Time will tell if the offense has been pushed along enough. Right. But it's going to come down to the guys that are already here. We say that all the time. They need to produce. And if they get some leads, this bullpen should be a lot better in locking those leads down.
Yeah, I think some of the concern I think out there publicly is that their other teams did so much. I mean, the Padres went crazy. They were super aggressive. They did really well. And, you know, it's sort of AJ Preller's MO. He's either buying hard or selling hard. And he bought hard. I mean, pretty impressive what he did to be able to get Mason Miller and all the other pieces that he ended up getting made him much better. And the Mets did a really nice job. I mean, the Mets did a heck of a job. And so I think that there's this feeling that there wasn't enough done by the Phillies. I think they took care of their prime issue. And that's what you got to do. You got to take care of your issues, which was the back end of the bullpen. I thought once they went with both feet in with Johan Duran, I thought that they would probably be a little bit more aggressive because I thought they were going to throw all the chips in. Mm-hmm. So I thought they might end up going to a Eugenio Suárez or perhaps even the center fielder Luis Robert, maybe a little heavier, higher ceiling. Of course, he has not been that consistent, but you could take a flyer on a guy like that. Obviously, the price tag was a little high, and obviously very, very high on Kwan. I thought they might take a run at Kwan, but the asking price was probably started with a P in Painter, and so that made it probably impossible to get done. But I just had a feeling that they might go a little bit stronger on the bat. Harrison Bader, I like. I think he gives them an incremental boost. I don't, and we talk about this all the time, little incremental boost as far as their outfield is concerned, but not a major change. And I think that's probably what the fans are a little disconcerted by. But I mean, this team is better than it was 2 days ago, a lot better. And it's going to get better when Alec Boehm gets back and when, a guy like Aaron Nola gets back. So, you sort of have to count on the guys who are paid a tremendous amount of money to be the guys to provide the offense. If they can't, then they might have to regroup next year.
And that's what Dave Dombrowski said that on a Zoom call with reporters on Thursday night. He said, internally, we need these guys to step up and produce. So it didn't look like they were looking for a savior to help this offense, because certainly Harrison Bader is not that. Nick, my concern with Bader, guys, is that he's having a nice offensive season. He's batting .258, 12 home runs, .778 OPS. As Jim said, that's the most productive outfielder the Phillies have right now on their roster. OPS plus of 111. That means he's performing 11% more better than league average. Castellanos is at 101. Everybody else is below league average. So you look at it and go, okay, well, that's good. But here's my concern is that in his career, Harrison Bader's career, he's been in the big leagues for 9 years. His career OPS is 706, OPS plus 94. So in his career, he's been a below average offensive player. So, can you hang your hat on these first 4 months? Dave Dombrowski said, listen, he's doing it. He's done it. He's doing it. And we believe he can continue to do it. Now, if he continues to do it and he plays and he hits like this for the Phillies, that's great. Because certainly he's a great defender. He's a great outfielder. He's a really good left fielder. He's a pretty good center fielder. So if he does all those things, great. But it's not like that lockdown, sure thing offensive boost to really help this lineup. But again, according to Dave, they're counting on the guys that they already have. Boehm, JT Realmuto, Castellanos stepping back up. Continued production from the top three guys, Turner, Harper, and Schwarber. So we'll see.
Is he going to be an everyday outfielder? Is he playing every day in center field? Is he playing every day in left? What do you do in Kepler? Kepler released? I mean, what happens to all these guys? I mean, I'm not sure how the pieces all come together because his OPS and stuff like that and his production against left-handers are not all that different than from right-handers. So it's not like you're getting a specialty right-handed bat.
I think initially he's going to maybe platoon in center field, maybe, help out in left field a little bit. But I think if he continues to have a good year, he's going to play himself into more regular duty. The roster move, there's a couple. I think Rojas could be optioned. That would be kind of a simple way to go.
And Dave said he's going to play a lot. He didn't say every day, and of course, then he said Rob makes the lineup out, but he just said he's going to play a lot.
And I think Kepler, when they do bring Crawford, that's when Kepler could be in trouble.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how it all fits. The pieces of the puzzle fit. Does he play center against lefties? Does he play left against lefties? Does Rojas get sent out? Is it Weston Wilson who gets sent out? Are they going to defense for everybody in the outfield? Right. I mean, seriously, is that what's going to happen? I mean, how is this all going to be put together? And I guess that's up to Rob Thompson to decide.
Yeah, I got to find the quote that he was. Dave Dombrowski was asked about Max Kepler, and
I do think Kepler could be on borrowed time here. I mean,
yeah,
especially when they're ready to pull the trigger and bring Crawford. I believe they were out there, and you might laugh at this, but trying to move Kepler today in a trade, maybe eat the salary, give him away, not expect much back, just kind of move on from him in that way, because that would be they need to open up a spot in the outfield. And I think that was one of their possibilities, but there were no takers.
Yeah. So Dave, I want to get your impressions on this quote. He was asked, like, kind of where does Max Kepler fit into all this? And Dave said he's actually been swinging the bat a little bit better, particularly versus right-handed pitching. And then he said, but he's part of our roster at this time. So it wasn't exactly at this time. It wasn't exactly a ringing endorsement, nor should he get a ringing endorsement, because he's underperformed. He's been a disappointment this year. OPS in the mid 600s. So he has not produced like they certainly expected him to produce. So
it's been a weird year for him. I thought he'd be more productive, and he hasn't been. He's been very good in left field. I love this defense, and I know he has the ability to go over and switch over, but they need bats. They need some of those bats in the back end of that lineup. And, we haven't talked about this a whole lot, but Bryson Stott having changed his hand position, I think that may help him. He looks like he's gotten better swings. It's tough to tell whether it's going to have immediate impact, but it looked like it has.
A little less loopy.
He's more direct to the baseball, and he's been really underneath the baseball almost all year long. And I think that's one of the ways to try to get him there, by getting his bat a lot more still instead of working underneath. Mm-hmm. And that's helpful, but that would be huge. I mean, if he can start swinging the bat like he should, and you can get a little bit more production from Marsh, you get Bohm back, then the back end of that lineup, it's not as daunting.
Hey, that was First Pitch, presented exclusively by our partners at Parks Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. ParksCasino.com is the website. You must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Phillies fans, whether you're hustling on the field or having a catch with your kids, staying mobile is everything. That's where Rothman Orthopedics comes in with expert care and top docs. They keep the Phillies and Philly moving. With 30 office and walk-in center locations across greater Philadelphia and New Jersey, getting world-class orthopedic care has never been easier. From injury recovery to joint care, Rothman's got you covered, because at Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility is their mission. Schedule an appointment now at rothmanortho.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can just scan the little QR code right on your screen.
Kratz, if I'm new to card collecting and I'm looking for the safest, most trusted way in the game to acquire cards, or to buy a card but not go through a ton of work where I'm going to the shows, I'm going online doing auctions, I want it all in one place. I'm going to
Arena Club. It's all in one place. You know you're getting a good price, whether you're buying it or you're selling cards. If you're new to it, you don't want all the other crappy cards. You can get the ones that you want. You can start your collection. And if you get them on Arena Club, your collection will look boss.
That's right. And may I mention, they also have Pokemon cards in those slab packs that we talk about every week. You can rip a pack for as low as $25 and hit on a card that's worth tens of thousands of dollars because every pack has grails that are at least 20x the price of the pack. So get involved at arenaclub.com/foul. Use the code FOUL to get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase.
We're back. I want to talk about Justin Crawford. We talked about him a little bit earlier. I want to get your opinion on what Dave Dombrowski said about him. He was asked on Thursday night on the Zoom call with reporters, where does Justin Crawford fit into this? Is he coming up? Is he not coming up? And this is what Dave said. He said, we think he's ready to play at the big league level. We could bring him up. If we do bring him up, he needs to play a lot. I'm not sure that we're in a position to do that at this point today, but he's not somebody that we would hesitate to bring up if we decided that was the right thing to do. And then in terms of just staying down there and playing in AAA, he said he, like Painter, like a lot of those youngsters, they can use more development time. It will never hurt them. So what do you guys make of that?
I make of it he replaces Kepler at some time in the not so distant future.
Why?
And I thought it'd be August 1st. Honestly, I thought it'd be today that that this would be the day that he'd start with the Phillies. And the fact that they didn't make a big move, maybe that's the reason why they don't want him to be like the quote unquote savior. And maybe they'll delay for a little bit. But I thought for sure that Crawford would be in the big leagues playing every day in center field. I know, Jim, you like him in left field. I thought he'd be playing every day in center field, and they would platoon. Here's where I think it's going to go. He's going to be in center field. Bader and Marsh are going to platoon in left field, and Castellanos is going to play right, and then they'll defense as needed. I think that's where it's going to end up going, but it may not. I mean, that's just an opinion. Maybe a not so educated opinion, but I think that's the way it's going to go at some point, sometime soon.
Yeah, sometime soon. I mean, it wouldn't, let me put it this way. It would be surprising, but it wouldn't totally shock me based off what Dave just said there, saying about Crawford and saying what he said about Kepler, which he's in left field at this time. It wouldn't totally stun me if the move they made on August 1st was what you just said, Ruben. That can still happen. They haven't announced what the move is going to be on the 26-man roster. It's not like they already announced it. They said they're going to make that decision on Friday. So clearly, I understand that they want to talk to that person in person, whomever they option or release or whatever it is. But yeah, it sounds like Crawford is still going to come up at some point. And I think he should give some energy to the offense. See what he's going to do.
I'd like to see him. I let him hit a 9-hole and see what he does.
You didn't get dramatically better in the outfield. You didn't get Kwan, but you got a little bit better with Bader, and maybe you can get a little bit better again with Crawford.
Yeah.
So,
right,
add it up, stack them up, and you have maybe a little bit of improvement.
And then he also talked about Andrew Painter and his potential arrival in the next month. I think the question was posed, and he said, will we see him? I'm not really sure what's going to happen. We're in a position where it's a possibility, but I don't want to say anything more than that because we really haven't made that decision ourselves. He's pitched pretty well recently. He threw his first professional game of over 100 pitches the other night with Lehigh Valley. So something to watch. But Aaron Nola was supposed to pitch, make his first rehab start on Thursday night with Lehigh Valley. They got rained out up in Worcester. Did I pronounce that right, Jim? Worcester?
No.
Is it Peabody or Peabody?
It's Peabody, and it's Worcester.
Right.
Worcester.
I thought it was Worcester.
No. It's Worcester.
Worcester.
So Aaron Nola was
Never Worcester.
Aaron Nola.
There once was a man from Worcester who had 2 hens and a rooster. I used to know the rest of that limerick, but I forgot it.
You gotta be careful. This is PG.
Good thing I forgot it.
PG-13.
It's not one of those, is it? Nola was supposed to make a rehab start on Thursday, his first rehab start on Thursday night, but now he's going to pitch Friday night, so he gets bumped back today. And Rob Thompson said this week in Chicago that they want to get him up to 90 pitches. He's going to start around 55, 60, so he could be at 90 pitches after his third start. And they said the plan is to pitch him every 5 days. So it's not like he's going to go 5 and then give him an extra day. It's going to be every 5 days. They said that's the plan. So Nola could be back by August 16th right now. So he's coming back soon. So that kind of colors, I guess, what the Phillies are going to do with Andrew Painter. But I still think he'll be up at some point, right?
I do.
I would think so. I think they got to get his feet wet, because if in fact they do need him in the bullpen, because that bullpen becomes pretty exciting with Luzardo and Painter back there in the playoffs. Of course, they got to get to the playoffs still. But, yeah, he's got to get his feet wet in the big leagues so that he gets at least a feel for it as a starter and then make the adjustment accordingly.
Dombrowski has been pretty adamant that he's not going to be in the bullpen throughout the season. I think he might have left a little crack in the door recently. I with the history, the Tommy John, I'm not crazy about putting that good guy in the bullpen at this stage of his, building back from Tommy John, because as a reliever, you got to go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and whereas a starter, you can go to 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. I just worry about the warm up. Maybe if he's on a playoff roster, you'd consider using him as an opener where you could get a normal warm up. I don't know, but I think you're deep enough in the rotation. You don't even need to think about openers. So, the power and the stuff I would love in the bullpen. I just worry about the health history and the need to warm up and rev it up so quickly. But
No doubt.
If you guys can't get to Parks Casino, check out that gastropub gym that I mentioned earlier. You can always have some fun with Parks Casino at home, on the road, at the ballpark, right on your phone, right, Ruben?
Yeah, no doubt. And the one and only betting app that I would recommend you to use on betting on sports and playing casino games for real money is the Bet Parks app. You can bet individual players, performances, strikeouts, homers, RBIs, play all your favorite casino games right on your phone. There's actually some really cool games on the app. There's Lightning Gorilla. It's pretty hot here in Pennsylvania. Huff and More Puff. We talked about a few times. Billionaires Bank. Plus, there's BetWire right now, live, right inside the Bet Parks app. It's like having a TikTok. It's like for people who like sports betting rather than the dance tracks. BetWire is the all-new sports betting live feed right inside the Bet Parks app with quick videos, hot takes, game predictions, and more from sports betting content creators all across the country. New users can get up to $1,000 back if you're down in your first 24 hours. See betparks.com for details. You must be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, Michigan, or Maryland. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. You love to play. You love to win. You bet Parks.
What do you guys think of the Mets moves?
Aggressive.
You touched So the Mets get Cedric Mullins to patrol center field. He's a lot of fun to watch play center field. The guy climbs up the wall like he's Spider-Man. And then you have Ryan Helsley.
Good move.
Yep. Had the Phillies
Great
had some
move.
in him. Tyler Rogers.
Philly killer.
I was looking at those numbers today. I was like, holy moly. And then Gregory Soto. So they kind of mirrored each other in terms of what they needed. They both got an outfielder. They both got some bullpen help. The Mets went hard on the bullpen with 3 relievers. And then they got Cedric Mullins. So would you guys have any thoughts on those moves? Jim, you mentioned Tyler Rogers, and you said he's a Phillies killer. Look at these numbers, career numbers against current Phillies in the lineup. Trey Turner, 1 for 11. Castellanos, 2 for 9. Harrison Bader, 1 for 5. Alec Boehm, 0 for 5. JT Realmuto, 0 for 5. Bryce Harper, 1 for 4. Bryson Stott, 0 for 3. Kyle Schwarber's 3 for 5. He's got the only home run of any current Phillies player against Tyler Rogers. So
I think it's pretty cool that they're both addressing their bullpen, and they're separated by a half game in the standings with 2 months to go. It's going to be a lot of fun. Those last two series, one up there, one down here in September, are going to be a lot of fun. They got 3 relievers. Did they get?
Yeah, 3. Yeah,
They got
Soto.
Greg Soto. So they got 3 relievers. The Phillies are going to get 3 relievers because they got Duran. They're going to get David Robertson, and they're going to get Jesus Lazardo in October.
Well,
And
don't
maybe
forget
more,
about
maybe Painter as well.
and Alvarado. And Alvarado's
And
coming
Alvarado's
back.
coming back.
Alvarado, for part of the regular season, the last 6
Right.
weeks. So bullpen still has a chance to get better. I'm curious to see what Alvarado looks like because I don't know what was real and what was the help he was getting early in the season. And but I'll definitely be, you get him back and take your chances that he looks pretty good. He's got a lot of reasons to want to pitch well over the last 6 weeks. He's going to be a free agent, right?
Well, I'll tell you what. I asked Dave that question a couple of weeks ago when they signed Robertson about what he expects, and he really threw cold water on any suggestion that Jose Alvarado is going to see this big drop in velocity, and you're not going to see the old version of Jose Alvarado. Maybe he doesn't hit 100, but it certainly sounds like he's expecting him to throw high velo. So I thought that was interesting because it wasn't like, well, we'll see what he's doing down there in Venezuela. We got to get our eyes on him, and that's what the rehab. It's like, no, that I know what was going on. I expect him to be back and be just as quality as he was. So we will see.
He took a big jump this year from
Yeah.
where he was last year.
Of the quality, but not necessarily the velocity. The quality and the confidence, and maybe that stuff gave him more confidence, whatever.
I think the velo was up. Wasn't it up, Todd? The velo was
not
up.
very much, just a tick. Maybe a mile an hour or so. Not a ton. He was just not real consistent in the strike zone 2 years ago.
The strikeout rate went
year.
up. This year.
To me, it was about I think the confidence in the fact that he was throwing more strikes. He was not throwing strikes like he was 2 years prior, and he lost a lot of the confidence, and maybe this gave him a little more confidence. Whatever the case, I think that they're a much better bullpen today than they were 3 days ago, and they will be in another, couple of weeks when these guys, kind of filter out. And that's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It was most important. We talked about it a million times. I do like the things that the Mets did. Outstanding. I mean, they basically did this to combat the Phillies. I mean, there was any question in my mind that they know that the Phillies are their biggest nemesis and that they wanted to get players that, have had success against the Phillies. And they did it because there's some great numbers against them from their bullpen. And, you got to give them a lot of credit for that.
You surprised Mason Miller ended up moving after 2 years of we're not moving him? But
what a price they paid.
But
they paid a big price, but that's what you got to do. You're either all in or you're not. And I think that's one of a little bit of the disappointment on the Phils is that I think the expectation was once he went with Duran that they would get heavier, but and they would basically put all the chips in. They'd only put half of them in.
Do you think they were super serious, aggressive on Kwan?
I think that they kicked the tires pretty much, but I'm not sure. I got to believe that the Cleveland Guardians were sticking to their guns as far as the talent coming back, and that talent had to start with Painter. I mean, he's that good of a player. He's that good. And that's what I would have been waiting for also. And I don't think there's any combination of players that they could have put together without Painter that would have gotten them.
I just feel like the Phillies were all about a right-handed hitting outfielder. But.
Yeah. Well, they got Harrison Bader.
Probably.
So. Were there any the moves that the trades that were made the last couple of days? I mean, so many. Does any trade really jump out?
How about the Yankees? The Yankees did a great job at the back of their bullpen.
Unbelievable. How about the Detroit Tigers? The Detroit Tigers got 7 pitchers. 7.
That's wild.
They've gotten 7 pitchers. We're gonna see the Detroit Tigers this weekend. It's gonna be a totally different rotation and totally different bullpen.
They're gonna need name tags for the pitching coach to identify them.
It's amazing. I mean, they ended up getting the veteran. They got Charlie Morton, right? They get Charlie Morton.
Yeah, I think so, right? Who did Charlie Morton go to? There's so many
went
moves.
to Detroit. I think he went to Detroit. They got a bunch of guys that they
Yep.
needed rotation help. I mean, they couldn't just go with Skubal. Their rotation was a little short.
The Yankees got Doval and Bednar, and Doval.
You know what's interesting? Yeah, I got to say something about the Mets. This is going to be really interesting because who is going to close for them? And does that put their closer? Does that make him uncomfortable? Does it make him more confident? Is Helsley going to be the guy who's closing, or is he pitch in the eighth inning? And how are the egos going to handle this?
Very good question.
I'm serious. I'm totally serious about this.
No, it's a great question.
Brain locking on their current the name of their current.
Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz.
So is Edwin Diaz going to feel like, hey man, he's taking my job? Is he going to be able to pitch in the eighth? Is Helsley going to pitch in the eighth? Who's going to pitch in the eighth? Who's going to pitch in the ninth? And it'll be interesting to see how they all handle that, because Edwin Diaz can be a little volatile and get a little scary at times. I'm real curious to see how that all plan works out.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I mean, but
no doubt.
But that's why, again, we talked about this in Thursday's show when we were talking about Duran, how immediately Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thomas like, he's our closer. He's our closer. They couldn't get that out fast enough. They wanted, and you know, one thing that I didn't write about this, but Matt Strahm was asked about this. Are you looking forward to the fact that, you know, now you guys are going to know your roles a little bit more? Do you like the fact that you have a guy that is the ninth inning guy? And he said, yes. He said, because now they know, you know, it's, you know, you hear relievers say this all the time. I know the average Joe like me might say, well, who cares? You get if they tell you to warm up in the seventh inning, get warmed up in the seventh inning. If they tell you get warmed in the ninth inning, get up and warmed up in the ninth inning. But you talk to the guys that actually do the job, they really like to know what time of the game they're usually going to come in. And I've heard that from my first year on the beat in 2003, when Jose Mesa was getting knocked around and guys were shuffling in and out. They're like, I just want to know when I'm coming in. All through the years, I've heard that from relief pitchers. And so those guys, I think, really like the fact that Duran is going to be the closer in the ninth inning. So now Strahm and Kerkering and Robertson and Alvarado and whoever else is going to be in the bullpen, Tanner Banks, they kind of know where they're going to come into the game. So
they're going to match them up.
Right. And that Strahm seemed kind of excited about that possibility. So wanted to mention that. So, all right, this weekend, Friday, Phillies Tigers open a 3-game series. Before the game, Jimmy Rollins and Ed Wade go on to the Wall of Fame.
Awesome.
So that game starts. Starts at 6:45, but the ceremony starts a little bit earlier. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to Friday night's game, get to the game a little early. Yeah, you can get to hear CJ Roll and Ed Wade and all of the Wall of Famers that are going to be on the field. Jack Flaherty is pitching against Ranger Suarez Saturday at 4:05. This is the one if you don't got a ticket this weekend and you want to go down, go Saturday, because it's Tarek Skubal against Zach Wheeler.
What a matchup.
That's fun. That's a fun one. And then Sunday night, 7:00 start on ESPN. It's Troy Melton against Christopher Sanchez. So should be fun.
Boys, I get to call those games for ESPN radio on Saturday.
Nice.
You do?
Really?
That's exciting.
That is exciting. That's very
exciting.
cool.
Yeah,
that's very,
cool.
very. Yeah. Who's doing the play-by-play with you?
Play-by-play. Brain Lock, and I know Boog is doing the one on Sunday night. John Shiambi is doing the one on Sunday night, and I am brain cramping on who is doing it on Saturday. So, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be
perfect for you and because you have a face for radio.
Thank you very much.
but yet we're on
AJ Hinch and I can have the super secret Stanford handshake before.
There you go. Maybe he'll tell you what the steel sign is.
Maybe he will.
You can look real smart and say, I think this guy's gonna go here.
It'll be all right now.
That's happened right in the past, right, guys?
Oh yeah, I know that's happened.
One of the broadcasters used to get those signs. I'm just gonna throw this out here. I think that guy should steal second base right now.
There he goes.
Oh wow, you really know what you're talking about.
Brilliant. He's on top of it.
Brilliant. We'll be back next week, guys.
Smell you later, boys.
Smell you, Jim.
The Philly Show is brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Subscribe to The Philly Show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. If you like us, give us a review. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, and Threads. Find Ruben's analysis before, during, and after Phillies games on NBC Sports Philadelphia, on the Sports Radio 94 WIP Morning Show, and MLB Network. Find Jim at allphly.com. Find me at MLB.com, the Phillies Beat newsletter, and MLB Network.